USS Utah, all the people that were doing salvage work.
What'd they call it, the Utah?
That's just the name that they chose. USS Utah.
Okay, today is 22nd. Is that proper time?
Yes, I bet you're on him.
Yeah.
Oh, leave me alone.
Mr. Caller, he said, take your picture. Yeah, I guess I shut the door and maybe cut out some of
Oh, the door's fine. It's
some of the outside noises. You have a camcorder, what do you have?
yeah, camcorder.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I see that.
Maybe I should take my feet down from here.
Nope, you don't even see your feet.
What?
No, I don't even show.
He's had an infected foot, so he's not been able to walk much.
Mm-hmm.
And just keep his feet up.
Okay.
Now, I was transferred to the Utah I think it was, there's no date. Yeah, around February the 10th, Utah, 44, January 11th, Utah, 44. Now, when I was on the Utah, that was the guy, that's what they called the people in the salvage. Now, the commandant commends you for special devotion to duty when you displayed under difficult times, hazardous conditions, in the word of the salvage ship. Damage by any action, Pearl Harbor, December 7th. Your efforts contributed to the successful result. William L. Furlong. And this other one is commended Captain's Tourist Mass for excellent performing a duty while a member of the Shore Patrol, Long Beach, California, 10 October to 20 January. A.E. Longquist, Captain U.S.N., USS Oklahoma.
Sir, what's your full name?
Charles Allen Bilbo.
Charles Allen Bilbo. And today is November 22nd, 1988.
What?
Oh, today is November 22nd.
Yeah, the day John F. Kennedy was killed.
Right. My name is Joe Todd, and this is an interview with Mr. Charles Allen Bilbo in Norman, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Sir, where were you born?
Caddo, Oklahoma.
And when's your birthday?
November the 25th, 1914. I'll be 74 on the 25th.
Mm-hmm. Who are your parents?
What?
Who are your parents?
Charles Clay Bilbo and Adelaide Osburne House Bilbo. They're both deceased.
Why'd you join the Navy?
8th of January 1934.
And why'd you join the Navy?
Well, it was in the Depression, and that was something I had to do to make a living.
Mm-hmm. Why'd you join the Navy over the Marines or the Army?
Listen, I was in the National Guard for about 2.5 years. And I know all about the infantry. I didn't want nothing to do with the Army or the Marines.
What unit of the National Guard were you a member?
What's that date? She's got it. I joined the 10th of July, 1931,
That's correct.
and I think it was October 1933, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Where'd you take your basic training in the National Guard?
Oh, Durand, Oklahoma.
Durant. Oh. Did you go down to the bridge?
What?
Did you go down to the bridge with Murray?
No, because I just joined the 10th of July 1931, and they put the other people down there. You see, I just joined,
Mm-hmm.
so they wouldn't take me down there.
Mm-hmm.
They took quite a few people down there. They went down on the 10th of, I think about the 10th or 11th of July.
Why'd they go down there?
Huh?
Why'd they go to the bridge?
Well, they closed that. We had a free bridge, and they had a toll bridge, and they went down there, and what I understand that they closed the approach to the toll bridge,
Mm-hmm.
and we had that free bridge open.
Mm-hmm. So where'd you go for boot camp in the Navy?
The USS Oklahoma
You had your boot camp there?
in San Diego.
Mm-hmm. Tell me about boot camp.
Well, Forsyth and Salzoni were the chiefs. Chief boatswain mates were supposed to be in charge of it. But long time ago, if you were in the Army and you had $300, you could get out. Buy it. There was a master sergeant in the slaughterhouse. Master Sergeant, he drilled us. And did you ever see the 15 town rifle plane? You do everything except stick it up your
Oh, yeah.
and as we went by the reviewing stand, where we did that 15 count thing, and the captain said, "There's no use us keeping them here." So we were there 58 days, and they sent us to sea. And I went aboard Oklahoma.
Did you request the Oklahoma?
Yeah.
Is there any reason why you requested
Well,
it?
I was from Oklahoma,
Mhm.
and if anybody was from a state, and they had that battleship, well, they let them go to it if they wanted it. If there was opening, there's plenty of openings.
What was your rate when you went on board?
Apprentice seaman.
And where were your quarters when you first went on board the Oklahoma?
What?
Where were your quarters when you first went aboard?
Oh, I just done. They have bunks on the Oklahoma.
Mhm.
I was in the F division as it first started,
What deck is F Division located?
on the first deck. No.
big are those motor launches?
Well, we got 40-foot ones, 50-foot ones. Got motor wheelboats and about 26 feet on it.
And which one were you on?
I was on a 50-foot motor launch.
A 50-foot motor launch.
I stayed on there until I was working on that one in Shreveport. And that's a pretty good job in Shreveport. I didn't have a choice. So I took breakfast. We had first class. Take breakfast, cheese, and I take care. So I got 5 hours. That's making money. And I was a good one. And the best one was they ever had down there. So they passed the hat. And they give me about $40 tips every payday. And then when I left there, I went to the B division,
So what's B division?
boiler division.
What were your duties down there?
I was in the number 3 fire room.
Now what do you do in the fire room? What'd you do?
You fire that boiler. You cut in the burners and cut them out. The chain on the blower.
Did you ever win an E for efficiency in the boiler room?
No, that's not a. Sometimes they get an E for the whole engineering department.
Did the engineering department ever get an E while you were there?
Not while I was there. You see, we had 1,400 people. They went to capacity, but we had only about 800 more. So if we made a power run, we stood 4 on and 4 off.
Now what's the power run?
Go up as fast as it would go. In Oklahoma would make 21 knots.
Were you on board when they broke the propeller shaft?
Yeah,
What happened?
well, I don't know. I didn't have nothing to do with that. We just went in the dark, went in the dry dock, and got a new another.
Where'd you go in?
I think we were around Bremen.
Were you there when they sunk the freight train?
What?
Were you on board when they sunk the freight train at Riverton?
I don't know whether, I didn't know it was something quick,
And
man.
the Oklahoma sunk the freight train.
Oklahoma something quick, man, but
They were coming out of dry dock and a barge was throwing this train across and it hit the barge and sunk the freight train.
oh, and they wouldn't, that wasn't a freight train, that was a car, that was a,
They had train cars on the barge throwing it across. Tell me about the midshipman cruise in 1936. What happened?
well, the Arkansas, the Wyoming, Oklahoma, and the Michigan. We went to Port Lavine for a couple of 2 or 3 days. Then we went to Gothenburg, Sweden for 2 or 3 days. And then they went down to Cherbourg, France for 2 or 3 days. And that's when the revolution broke out in Spain. So they took all the midshipmen off the Oklahoma, put them on the Arkansas and the Wyoming, and they took some of the enlisted men off the Arkansas and Wyoming and put them on the Oklahoma, because we left some of our men back in the States, and when we took midshipmen aboard, so they filled the Oklahoma up The first port we made was Bilbo, Spain, and we brought, that's in northern Spain, and we brought refugees out of there. And then we went, I can't remember all this, but we went every port that you get a 50-foot motor launch in. And one of the refugees we took aboard was pregnant, and we had a baby born on
Was that put in the log?
it. I don't know if it put in the log or not. It was the doctor. The doctor made his thing. I guess I know whether they put it in the log or not.
Someone told me the captain didn't want that put in the log. He said battleships don't have babies born.
Captain Hall didn't.
What were your duties in picking up the refugees?
Me,
Yeah, what'd you do?
I just stood watching the fire room.
Do you know any incidents that you can recall about bringing the refugees on board?
Well, they just brought them in
How they brought on board, do you know?
with the motor launch.
I mean, from the motor launch up on deck, how were they?
Well, they come up the gangway just like everybody else does. Just come up the gangway.
Who were the refugees you were picking up?
Oh, they was all from every country in the world. Not every country in the world, but they had a lot of people, all different nationalities, different things, and we brought all of them out that wanted to come, and they all wanted to come.
Ever see any fighting between the two groups in Spain?
I didn't.
Was the Oklahoma ever fired on?
What?
Was the Oklahoma ever fired on during that time?
I think one of those planes made a run on us, but we shot it down with anti-aircraft guns.
And where did you take the refugees?
I don't know where it was. But they got it down in the fire room. And they took them. Back up. And some of them fought. We was over there about 6 months.
How long were you along the coast of Spain? You say about 6 months?
Yeah, that's what they said. They had a poem, some of them wrote, about 6 months or so ago in sunny California, we had a 2-day liberty, was all they could allow. And then we sailed around old sunny Spain for 6 months or so. And then we came back to the States. They sent 2 destroyers down there, the Hatfield and the Cane, to reeve us, to get the rest of them. We got most of them out, but they still had them there.
The Oklahoma had 2 airplanes on it.
Let's see. Yeah, but I think they had them pontoon planes. They
What
had
was-
one of them.
What were they used for?
They used them to throw slees that you shot. You used anti-aircraft on. They told the sleeves.
What's your fondest memory of the Oklahoma?
Oh, I don't know. I was on there 6 years. I went aboard as Rennes and left as a first-class petty officer. Then I went to the Northampton.
When did you leave the Oklahoma? When did you leave the Oklahoma?
In Pearl Harbor on the 26th of of June, no, 26th of April 1940, and I went to the Northampton.
Mm-hmm. Did you want to leave the Oklahoma?
What?
Did you request to leave the Oklahoma?
Well, you see, the people on the Northampton, some of them thought, now Pepe was the one that I relieved, and he went to my station on Oklahoma, in fireman first. I mean, in water tender first, in fireman first. Here's something interesting. Now this is when I went to the salvage, the Oklahoma. It says the commandant commends you for the special devotion to duty while displayed on difficult, at times, hazardous conditions in the word of salvage ships damaged by any action in Pearl Harbor, December 7, 1941. Your efforts contributed militarily to the success of this achievement, William R. Furlong. That was the admiral. And this here's another one. Commended June the 30th. This was April 44. And June the 30th, 1940. The commended Captain Mortoris Mass for excellent performance of duty while a member of the Shore Patrol, Long Beach, California, the period 10 October 39 to 22 January. I actually was in Los Angeles, my one. They call it the, you always read that, but I went to Los Angeles. That's where I did my duty.
Where were you on December 7th, 1941?
December the 7th and 41?
Yes, sir.
I was at sea with the Enterprise, four heavy cruisers in Northampton. I don't remember what all of them were, and 12 destroyers. And we went to sea on the 27th of November, and we got out 150 knots, and the captain read our orders. He said, we have an intelligence that says the Japanese task force is heading for the States. And we had 4 cruisers, aircraft carrier of the Enterprise, and 12 destroyers. And we went out, and the orders was to stop the Japs as they crossed the 180th. That was the 27th of November. And then there was another aircraft carrier that out with the same group like that. But you know, our radars only go 75 miles at that time. And there's a lot of ocean out there. Some way or another they got around us.
When you heard that Pearl Harbor had been attacked,
Yeah, we knew it.
what was your reaction?
Well, we went to general quarters, and you see, the Japs were looking for the aircraft carriers. And there wasn't no aircraft carriers in there. We were all at sea, looking for the Japs, but they got around us some way or another, and we were on the way in. Now, they never did say anything about this, but the Enterprise, we were about 115 knots out of Pearl Harbor on December the 7th. And they knew that the Japs were attacking Pearl Harbor. So the Enterprise launched all their fire planes, and they never did say anything about it. But they shot down some of those Japs. And one of them they shot down, and the at the entrance to Pearl Harbor. And it stayed there till after the Battle of Midway, before they even took it out. They had the rising sun.
Go ahead.
They never did say anything about the Enterprise.
What was the reason? Why?
I don't know. Don't tell me, because I don't know.
Well, when you heard the Oklahoma had sunk, what was your reaction?
Well, there was a lot of them got sunk.
But when you heard about the Oklahoma, what'd you think?
Well, it's just bad.
Why were you assigned to salvage the Oklahoma?
Well, I'd been on the Oklahoma for 6 years. And I went over there. They were starting to get people to come. So I went over there, and this little old guy had a goon suit on and a baseball cap. And he asked me a few questions about Oklahoma, and I said I'd been on there 6 years, and I knew the engineering and knew the ship pretty well. So that fellow was Admiral Furlong, and I had been on a destroyer, but I'd got a commendatory promotion from Admiral Halsey, and I had too much rank to be on that destroyer, so they took me off. And I went over and was talking to him, and then I got transferred to the Dalby outfit.
Did you help right the Oklahoma when they put the cables over? And
I didn't help write it, but I did. They were those cables what turned over. They had a whole bunch of cable there, but I helped clean up the Oklahoma.
what did the inside of it look like when you went inside?
Oh, it was all messed up. And they turned over, and the 14-inch shells were stuck to the roof. And what they did is they unwatered that ship. They took all the machine shop stuff out of there, and they took it over to Shop 99, and they used it. And they had to use water to get those projectiles out. Well, they got all those projectiles out, and they got the powder too, and they used the guns. They took the guns off, the 14-inch guns, and they used them to re-gun these other ships where they warm out the 14-inch, and they took that powder out and they dried it. Shop out. They had a good machine shop. They put a new machine shop in there when they went back to the States, and now as they unwatered, they took all that stuff out. They used the 14-inch gun to re-gun the other ships.
You know what ships those guns were put on?
No, I don't. It's some ship that had 14-inch guns.
When was the first time you went inside the Oklahoma to salvage it?
Oh, the first day I got there.
I mean, when was that? Was it right after it'd been righted, or?
It hadn't been righted yet. They were in the process of writing it.
Did you help take any of the bodies off?
Well, there wasn't no bodies in there.
I mean, the
They were
bones.
bones.
Yeah.
Now, I'll tell you one thing. That back in the radio room, down below, they had about 25 or 30 men in there, and they suffocated. And when they opened it up, they were black. I think there was about 30 men in there, and they, you know, the air, they run out of the air and they just died, suffocated, and they wasn't any air in there, so they just turned black when they got them out of there.
What were your main duties in salvaging the Oklahoma? What'd you do?
Help clean it up.
Well, just take everything out of the ship?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Was there much trouble in righting the Oklahoma?
Well, they had those little cables and then little motors all along there, and I don't guess it. I guess it was some trouble, but those engineers had it set just right, and these little motors turned it over. I don't know how many little motors they had, but they had them. They turned it over with those little electric motors.
Which section of the ship did you help clean out?
Oh, I helped clean out all of it.
You did. Okay. Oh, you say that you got a promotion from Admiral Halsey?
Yeah.
What was the promotion for?
Meritorious conduct
What'd you do?
in the sinking of the Northampton.
What'd you do?
Well, I boosted the steam in 3 and 4 bar, 1 and 2 bar, and I filled them up to air cocks because I didn't know it. You know, they abandoned ship on the Hornet, and they burned up their boilers. They just didn't secure them right. They just left. And then they went down to try to light them off, and they'd burned up their boilers. And we took it in tow 3 times, the Hornet. But then the Japs started down there, so they had to turn it loose. The Northampton was taken in tow. So
Was the Northampton sunk?
no, yeah. On the 1st of December 1942.
What happened?
Well, we got 2 torpedoes.
What battle was that?
The 6th Battle of Tuscaloosa.
And is that what, near Australia or where? Where's that located?
The Iron Bottom Bay. Between the Savo Island and it's about 7,000 feet of water.
So tell me about getting off the Northampton. Tell me about getting off Northampton when it was sinking. What'd you do?
Well, there was a life raft up above the movie screen. I cut that down, and I guess somebody used it, but I went over the side on the ropes, and I had my K-pot jacket on.
And how long were you in the water?
Oh, I don't know. But the destroyer, 445, the Fletcher, picked us up.
So anything else about the Oklahoma you can recall?
What's that?
Anything else about the Oklahoma that you can recall? Any incidents?
No.
Did you have to wear that diving suit when you first went inside the Oklahoma?
No.
Because I understand, you know, I heard that they had to wear this diving suit because the air was poisonous inside there.
No, they one of these air masks that you put on. No.
Okay. You had
It
to wear.
wasn't a diving suit.
Now you had to wear an air mask then.
Yeah, for a while.
Yeah.
But they put blowers in there and you know they suck some of that air out of there and then they put fresh air down there.
What's the first thing you took off the Oklahoma?
I don't remember. We were taking see, that was 40 some odd years ago.
Yeah. So they took the 14-inch. What about the 5-inch projectiles?
I don't know about them now.
Yeah. Okay.
Of course, the 5-inch projectors, I guess they used them too. But that's fixed ammunition, that 5-inch anti-aircraft guns.
Do you have any questions?
When we first made those Marshall and Gilbert Islands, why the Northampton had them 8-inch guns, and they were shooting at a radio tower, and they hit an underground ammunition dump, and boy, it blew the top off of that island. And then the four more bombers come out from someplace, and they were following the Northampton. But those 5-inch guns would shoot 16,800 feet, and here come this bomber down. And it got about 16,000 feet, and they hit a direct hit on them, one of them 5-inch anti-aircraft guns. And the next one was trying to get away, but they got him too. And the others followed us for a long time, but they stayed above 17,000 feet.
Didn't you say there was one man who did not want to bring up the bones off the Oklahoma?
Oh, that was a colored guy.
What happened with him?
He was scared of them bones. You see, they had some prisoners over at IE, and they'd get them over there to help clean up the Oklahoma too. and this guy said, "Look at that shin bone," and his eyes got as big. He didn't want to go down there where them bones were, but they get us the bones out of there.
Did you help take the bones off?
Well, some of them did. I did.
Do you know a Nelson Glidewell?
What?
Do you know Nelson Glidewell?
Who?
Nelson Glidewell. Lives up by Joplin, Missouri.
What's his name?
Nelson Glidewell.
No, I don't know him.
He was on the Oklahoma. He helped clean the ship out also. He was on the same time you were.
Well, they had quite a few of them.
Yeah, he was in the signal. He was a signal man on the Oklahoma.
Well, I wouldn't have known him.
Yeah.
I did know the only one that I knew was, what's his name now? Napier. He was a signalman, but he was a friend of mine. And he was later the skipper. He made warrant, and then he was later And I was ensign. I went over. He was a skipper of the Swan, and they had shot down some Japanese, and he had the stars on there. And when I was
Well, when were you, what about the Great White Fleet that you used to talk about?
the Great White Fleet, that was before my time.
Oh. Well, did you go to China on the Oklahoma?
We went. No, I didn't. We went to
Shanghai?
Hong Kong one time. When I went there, mostly on the Northampton.
Where's your favorite port for liberty?
Oh. Well, San Pedro, Los Angeles is a pretty good place. And San Francisco, and Seattle, and Tacoma.
Well, Mr. Bilbo, I think we have a good interview.
Thank you.
Okay. I want to thank you. Anything else you have?
They told them to leave their money on the books. But I drew my money, and I had my billfold and my dungaree jumper and my dungaree shirt. Then I had my dungaree jumper over that. Then I had my K-Pock life jacket. And I had about $600 in there. When I got aboard that destroyer, I took them out and took them over that steam line and dried all of them. Dried my billfold. So I had quite a bit of money.
Anything else? Anything else? Hey, thank you.